Morning everybody, it's camp kitchen time. I'm here making some breakfast. Join us. I'm going to take Wilbur to pieces again, get it back together, get on the road and get down towards Oslo. Who knows where we're going to end up today? Let's wait and see. I've made my tea already. I'm just making my porridge in the camp kitchen here. So having slept on it and thought about Wilbur and the mixture and everything else, although the air cleaner seemed okay yesterday, any sort of restriction on a vacuum card makes them run rich. So for the sake of doing it this morning, once I've had breakfast and a couple of cups of tea, I'm going to take the air cleaner off, completely take it apart, wash it all out with petrol and make sure it's perfectly clean. So I think that's the plan. I'm going to wash that out and then we're going to load up. We're going to head south to Gjovik, where hopefully berthed is the world's oldest paddle steamer. It goes up and down this lake, but it stopped running about 2 weeks ago. That was the end of its season. And then I'm going to head down to the outskirts of Oslo and find somewhere to camp. The main campsite in Oslo closed yesterday for the season, so that's not an option. It's only open till 31st of August. So I'll have to find somewhere else.
So with breakfast done, it's back out with the tools and we get Wilbur apart again. We've got to take the battery and everything off to get the air cleaner out. Square 4 air cleaner. I couldn't not do something about this because it would bug me. Because if there is a chance that this is partly blocked, which I don't think it is, but maybe, that might be part of my problem with it running rich. So all I'm going to do is wash this out with petrol, which I will obtain from here. Here we are, perfect. Might make the eggs taste funny for a couple of days, but it'll be right. And the only thing I've got big enough to get an air cleaner in that's available, petrol proof, is a frying pan. Well, there was some muck came out of it. It wasn't completely filthy blocked. So, you can't have done it any harm to clean it, that's for sure. So I will just leave that out in the open for half an hour or so for it to air and the petrol to evaporate. Because if you start a bike with an air cleaner full of petrol and it spits back, you're in a world of pain. So with that I can get Wilbur back together and give him all his service checks as usual to make sure he's ready for the long journey back home. 3 days riding coming up. Ironically, I think he's too weak now, because if I put a little bit of choke on he runs, and if I turn the choke off he won't. And the bloody screws right under there. So with a bit of adjustment, we've got him running clean and sounding good. No more black smoke or anything. I think we're about there. Well, that sounds a whole load better. I've got the jet screwed about 2 turns down, which is about right, and he's not chuffing out black smoke anymore, so maybe it was the air cleaner, so I'm glad I did that. Well, that's it. I'm going to get my gear on. We'll see how Wilbur runs. I'm going to run down the 213 rather than the E6, and we're going to go to Gjovik and see if we can find this world's oldest paddle steamer. I'm going to stay off the highways because I want to make sure the bike's right, and obviously on the highways you can't stop because it's the barriers both sides, so I'm going to take the scenic route. Well, it looks like a perfect riding day and a very nice camping there at Lillehammer, can recommend that, but we don't get very far before we're in a traffic jam with a camper. Anyway, the advantage of a motorcycle, you just go around the barriers, you don't have to wait for them to open. But that's it, let's get on that route and let's start heading south to Gjovik. Well, this is Gjovik Harbour, and that chimney in front of us is the Skibladner, world's oldest paddle steamer, still in scheduled service. So I'm going to sit here and have my picnic, and then we'll talk about the boat. Let's have a bit of a closer look. Unfortunately, it's the end of the season, so it's not running, otherwise I would have definitely had a go on it. It's a side wheel paddle steamer, a triple expansion steam engine, and we'll have a look. So the ship is called Skibladner, and that's actually the name of Freya's ship from Norse mythology, so that's where the name comes from. It's also known locally as the White Swan of Mjøsa, which is the name of the lake that it runs up and down. The ship was built in 1856, and it's been on this lake and run that route ever since. It's sunk twice in its life, once in 1937 and once in 1967, but both times it's been raised and renovated, and it is the world's oldest paddle steamer that still runs a timetable. Well, before we set off for more adventures, I thought we should at least just pull the plug out and have a look at the mixture. It's worth checking. Why wouldn't you do that? Let's see what we've got. That's still pretty black. I think we'll lean it off a bit more. Right, let's go and find this ice hockey arena. It's only 1 kilometre from where we are, so we're going to visit the Gjovik Olympic Cavern Hall, which is where the indoor ice hockey arena is. And you think, oh, well, that's not too interesting. The difference with this one, it's indoor because they built it inside a mountain. This holds 5,500 spectators, and it was built for the '94 Olympics. So it took them 3 years to build it. They blasted it out of the rock with dynamite. Well, this is it. We're at the Fjell Hall in Gjøvik, and this is the ice hockey arena. So let's go inside and see what we're allowed to see. Have a look inside a hill. It's very quiet and closed. Got no idea if I'm allowed in here or not, but I've just walked in through a door that was open. Let's have a look. Let's follow the Olympic rings. That sounds like a good plan. Oh, I didn't expect it to be so big. We haven't even got to the arena yet. Do you think we can sneak in here? So they built it by starting at the roof and going downwards, and they took 29,000 truckloads of rock out of here, and all of the rock was repurposed and used to build most of the marina that we were on where the paddle steamer is. It's very dark and very quiet, and I don't think I should be in here. Well, that's it. That's the Olympic ice hockey arena inside the mountain. What a cool place. In a room next to this, there's also a 25-metre swimming pool, but I figured we probably shouldn't be here any longer. Time to get out. What a mad place. What a mad place. Well, that's it. That is the world's largest ice hockey arena inside a mountain. So we've seen that. We've also seen the world's oldest paddle steamer, so that's not bad. And it's only 1 PM. So we are now going to head south, and I am going to try and find some camping on the outskirts of Oslo. I don't really want to go into Oslo, and the only campsite I know that's in Oslo is closed. And the one on the outskirts I think is Europe's largest campsite or something, which sounds like a really good reason to avoid it to me. So there's a couple of tent camping places I've found on Google, so I'm going to go and try those first. I think they're 30 or 40k outside, which will be perfect. But before we head off, we've got time to take in some culture, and we've got this art. I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be. A bunch of fish hooks, I think it said, and it's all cast aluminium. That's a big lump of aluminium. So there we are, Olympic Fjell Hall. Been there, done that. That's it. that's the Fjell Hall, so let's get out of here. Run Turn Camping is my aiming point, which is 2 hours south from here on the outskirts of Oslo. I'm not sure if it's a campsite or a field or what it is. I can't find much information online, but it's going in the right direction, and I'll get there about 3 or 4 p.m, which gives me plenty of time to find somewhere else if I'm stuck. So let's go. Well, the traffic around Frogmore was just brutal. It wasn't a bad run until here, and this was just terrible. It went on and on. So I was trying to fight through this town because I had to get over the bridge over the river. There was no route round it. But we got out the other side and I was heading for the campsite, but when I got there, somebody's put a barrier across the road, CCTV, and no cars and motorbikes sign. So I thought, I've got to find somewhere now, it's getting late. So I dived off down a forest track I found, and I thought, I'm just going to wild camp up this track somewhere. This is turning into a nightmare. I found a little road down the middle of nowhere. I've called every campsite within 40 kilometres of here. There's no answer at any of them. The 2 tent places that I found, one of them I found is only accessible by a 10-kilometre walk, and the other one there's a barrier across and a private road. So I can't use either of those. So I've come down this one which had no signs. There was a barrier but it was open, and I know I can get round the barrier on the way back if somebody's locked it. And I'm here like 3 kilometres down a forest track, and I turn around, there's the woman on a mobile phone in the field opposite. I've got no idea if I'm allowed to camp here or not. There's no signs, there's no fences, so I understand from that I am allowed to, but I just don't know. I'd be quite happy here listening to those sheep tinkle away. I don't know what to do. Oslo is a complete car park. I'm not going back through Foston, I think that town was. That's just traffic hell. The entire area of Oslo is red on Google Maps, which means it's a traffic jam. So it's like 5 o'clock now. I really don't know what to do other than just stick my tent here. I've got food, I've got water, and just stay here for the night. Well, this is it for the evening. Me, Wilbur, and the field there, and the sheep here. So the lady that was in the field on the phone, she's training sheepdogs, and she lives in the town nearby because I went and spoke with her. And yeah, she said no problem. She said sometimes people do come and camp here. So tonight, me and Wilbur, our last night in Norway, that's her training the dog. Tonight, me and Wilbur are wild camping, like properly wild camping. That's it, always good to get the tent up. So I think the next job is I'm going to give Wilbur a quick service and just check the oils and stuff and check the plug. Cool, while camping with Wilbur. However, in the background we have the relaxing sound of gunfire. And I realised that the place we rode past on the way to this spot here is the local gun club. And they've got the shooting range there. But anyway, I guess they're going to finish. The lady said they lock the gate at 9, so I guess they're the people that get out and lock it by them, so that's no problem. I think the engine was pinking slightly on the way here when it was under load, which probably means I've got it a touch too weak now, but that's okay if it is. Oh yep, well, at least they're not black anymore. That'll have burnt the carbon out of it. Yep, we're a bit white now. So we're richer it up a touch. So as we sit here with the relaxing sound of gunfire to relax to, and the sheep tinkling away in the field there, what have we got for tea? So we got beer nuts, and we have fisk soup. In order to spice it up a bit, I've also got a couple of little salmon fillets, and I thought they would be really nice if I stuck those in too. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. That'd be right. Yes, this is the frying pan that I washed the air cleaner out in petrol earlier this morning. But hey ho, jolly be right. So obviously this is salmon fish I've just caught from the lake, if anybody asks. That's going to be delicious. Look at that. We'll get a bit of fat out of that salmon to get it going. Oh, that's delicious. I'm not going to put that in the soup. I'm going to just warm up that soup a touch more, and I'm going to eat that salmon separate. Oh, Richard, you've outdone yourself tonight. Such a relaxing Norwegian country noise background. Well, that tea was delicious, and the lady said if I just walk down that path there a little bit, we get to the lake. And there's a little river running down there as well, I think. I need to do some washing up, so I've got my washing up stuff. Let's take the pots and then they'll be ready for morning for the porridge. Got to have me porridge on a morning. I've got porridge and milk with me. So let's have a wander down the path and see if we can find this lake. Definitely a path, and we're outside the fence, which means we're not on somebody's land. That's the rules. Don't go in fenced land. And here's the lake. Look at that. That's a pretty good find. The trees are just starting to turn to autumn. They're just starting to go like reddy brown. That water's quite warm actually. That. Well, Wilbur, it's our last night in Norway. So overall, we've got 40 kilometres to Oslo tomorrow to the ferry port. We'll do that in the morning. There's a lot of Norway we haven't seen. We've seen a bit of it. We did all of the roads we wanted to, plus more. So that's good. That's a bonus. I would definitely want to come back and do more of some of them, and to go further and explore more. The following the coast on the way up was great. It's a very slow way of doing it, but you get to see a lot. But you're in the fjords and you're in a lot of camper traffic and everything else. I would hate to have done that on a busy holiday season. Coming inland, well, that blew me away really. I didn't expect that. Rolling hills, farmland, forest, lakes, over the top of the mountains and things. I actually thought the inland route was more scenic. I would like to do that again, and perhaps, you know, in the other direction. We'll have to see. What do you reckon, Wilbur? We'll see. We've ridden on tarmac, smooth tarmac, terrible tarmac, gravel, snow, ice, all sorts of stuff. You know, they're really. We've tried to cover as many different things as we could in the time that we had, and I don't think we've done a bad job of that. So anyway, that's it. That's enough of me waffling. Cheers, Wilbur. I'm going to finish this beer and then it's off to bed. So join us next time when we get amazing morning views beside the lake that we're camping at. Smoke on the water. We break our forest camp and we're off up the track on our way out of there. But before we can do that, we've got to sneak around the bomb gate. Good job Wilbur's been on a diet. Look at that, perfect fit. We take a cruise on the Colour Line Cruises ferry from Oslo to Kiel. This is ferry number 18 of this journey. And we say goodbye to Norway. It's been fun. The cruise boat is almost empty, which is great. But a German man still manages to get very drunk and gets thrown out of the bar. All that and more next time on Wilbur's Arctic Adventure.